all of you to Poetry in Chinatown. My name is Clara Sue, and I run this play, and I'm just really happy to keep this poetry reading going. And Greg Pond is our host. And so before I start, I usually read a poem, and then we give a toast to all the poets and poetry. So if you don't have something in your hand, you can go grab it now. I think that the tea is coming. Oh,
it's coming,
teacups.
it's coming.
Teacups are here, and the tea is coming. So I'm going to read my poem really slow. So we're gonna
slow, very, very
we're gonna have all the teas and to serve everybody, and there's also wine, plum wine that we use to toast. And I know there are some new people here. And the first row, Daria?
Yes.
Daria! So how'd you hear about this?
Google Gemini.
Oh, right, okay. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here, and we always need audience in the poetry reading. So I celebrated my 70th birthday a couple weeks ago, so I'm really proud of my achievement. So I have a poem about, I wrote it for my birthday. It's called Moon Stairs. Moon stairs I climb when the hour has turns. First step mist, second step fog. Cicadas' wings cloak me from earthly thought. Third step fireflies. Fourth step a scented jasmine breeze. Round eyes, woo-hoo, the owl's head turns. Fifth step alights on a sleeping bird. It flutters and takes me to the night queen of flowers, radiant, blooming on the tip-top tree. There I tarry in her turquoise folds and reach for her eyes, those twinkling stars. Moon stairs I climb, yet one more step, the seventh I shall stand upon, feeble, breathless, yet undaunted, melange with the luminous sky. Thank you, and cheers to poetry and poetry in Chinatown. Cheers. And Greg Pond. Give him a big hand.
Right. Good afternoon, good people. Welcome to the March edition of Third Saturday Poetry in Chinatown. Happy spring to everybody. And we have two wonderful features this afternoon. We have Alice Rogoff and we have Michael Koch. And we have lots of open mic slots for wonderful poets to share their work. First, we'd like you to please put your cell phones on silence or mute or what have you, so it doesn't go off in the middle of someone's reading. And also, we'd like to let you know that there are some colored pens there, gel pens and metallic pens, whatever. And after you read a poem, you're welcome to take one of the pens. And since it's the first day of spring, I also brought some Post-its, colored Post-its. So you can have one of those if you like as well after you've read. So we're going to get started with a few open mics and then a feature and then a few more open mics and the other feature and then the rest of the open mics for the rest of the afternoon. Our first reader of the afternoon is Daria. So Daria, please come to the stage and share your wonderful poetry with us.
poem is called Have You on My Lips. Have you on my lips, from sunrise to sunset, to work, to gym, at home, to yet another day. Have you on my lips, when smile a joke they make. The jokes are bad, the smile is fake. I learned how to pretend to laugh, pretend to be in love. Have you on my lips, and then I take their hand. Because of sweat, it's cold and wet. I look them in their eyes. They're good, they're nice. They're maybe even kind, but I can take you off my mind. Have you on my lips, and kiss a stranger. It doesn't feel the same, and even their own name, they told me, but I don't remember. They kiss me back, I wish he knew. When sky is dark, when sky is blue. At any time of day, I think of you. Have you on my lips, and every breath I take is keeping me awake, reminds me that you're far away, and that there is no way to get back what I miss, or have at least that one last kiss.
Took the whole pad. Next few writers and poets, readers, J.J. Rush, Yolanda, and then I think we have our first or two features.
Hello, everyone. Let me invite you to the Love Revolution. You ask me, could I love you if you left me? Eyes that see and eyes that know. Could I love you? What a question when I'm yearning so. Oh, for just one chance to love you. Could I love you, love you, love you? With all my heart and soul, with all my heart and soul. This piece I'm going to do is called All Saturn's Bow, out of my book, The Poetry of Seduction for Queens and Ruffians. Our mutual admiration was classical. I loved her with a Mark Anthony's passion. The minute reported smackdowns making me persona non gratis changed nothing. In our sun-drenched love affair. Had I lived 1,000 years, my love for her would never grow old. A tempestuous beast she was, a ravishing madame she was, far beyond some innocent shop girl. This special maiden was the sleekest catamaran made from God's own hand, specially leased to my command. With excessive exuberance, I beg your forgiveness for my uncommon speech. I found the fountain of youth in the joy of her singing. A yippity-doo siren from Parnassus, beyond my means to keep. She lived inside me, stealing my sleep with her cry. Came word from the street, a body was found 30 fathoms deep, a place off Saturn's Bow. In a dream nights before, an amorous couple was bonding. Truth be told, she was a runaway from the Camelot dynasty. Why should that have mattered, having freely given her heart to me? By what right could any agency blockade her love from me? Maybelline was suspected, eager to heal and please. I could ring her doorbell and leave heaven to do the rest. But any day queen could emerge, making longer my outrage. In hot pursuit of Saturn's Bow, I tracked my doe-eyed quarry. Standing before the powers that be, said I, please God, please reinstate my indispensable queen, the music of my life. And if not, send me her twin and woman to love me sincerely in the little time remaining. Thank you.
Yolanda's up next.
I'm going to give Angel a rest. This I wrote because I joined the church after my boyfriend, Angel, my older son, suggested I go. It's the Evangelist Church. It's on 15th and Julian, a block and a half from Mission Street. And every Wednesday they're part of the Google Project on Tuesdays. And from 2:30 to 4 they have lunch. And they also have a writing workshop. So I wrote this poem there last month. Black, the color of midnight. Black, the color of oil petroleum. Black, the lack of light. Black, red, green, white. Color of Palestinian flag. Color of African National Congress. Color of resistance to apartheid. Color of marchers, black Africans, where hundreds were slain. Hundreds of black Africans slaughtered in South Africa, which after 25 years of prison, Nelson Mandela was elected president of South Africa in 1994, where Chris Hani told his security guard they could go home only to be assassinated by a white supremacist after 1994 elections in South Africa. Spring will soon be here, flowers will bloom, rain will fall, cascades of tears will be camouflaged. Camouflaged nature colored, military green clothing will blend in with the white shirts and slacks of those allowing beige tan skin to show. Painters will wear their white gear, while all black dress folks will display their color preference, symbolizing what? Mourning or rebellion, hard knocks, sex, love. Even lesbians hand in hand, walking to marches, wear black with their capillas in America. African Americans will continue to wear black. Africa, continent of jungles, cities where African women wear golden straw hats while cooking peanuts on black metal round trays, or firewood in open air and serve them in green plantain leaves. And that too, Africa, where in Uganda they murdered jail gays, where in Ghana they cut the hands of thieves, while African female prisoners carry white round metal bins full of rocks. Africa, courted by communist countries, which now have become targets for Western countries. Africa, where are you heading? To murder or to humanity? This poem, I know a lot of the facts about Africa because I've been to West Africa. When my senior year I went to Madrid because it was closest to Africa. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to go to Africa. And it's horrible. I don't usually write poetry about gays, but this, I keep up with the news, and so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have time for the first of our two features of the afternoon. And we're going to talk about Alice Rogoff. And I will read from her bio. I grew up in New Rochelle, New York, writing poetry and stories when I was young. I've been published in many literary magazines and anthologies, including Swerve from Ireland, Transfer, Borderlands, Texas Poetry Review, Fiction and Caveat Lector, Poetry Pacific, and Avocet for Nature Poetry. I moved to San Francisco in 1971, received 2 MAs in creative writing and drama from San Francisco State. In addition to volunteering for many groups around social issues, I received a San Francisco Arts Commission grant for a poetry project about San Francisco women labor organizers. My book, Mural, won a Blue Light Book Award, and she has several others, the latest being City Canyons. In recent years, she's gotten into writing songs and taking classical guitar classes. And her husband, David, was a social worker who recently passed in San Francisco, but they had both worked with children at Hull House in Chicago. Alice Rogoff is also one of the editors of the A-Berry Literary Journal and San Francisco ambassador, true ambassador. So please welcome to the stage Alice Rogoff.
It's nice to see everybody here, people I know and people new to Clarion also. I'm going to start with a song that I wrote a long time ago, and I think my reading, some of it's about spring and some of it's about things that are not so great that are happening. This is called Bird Song, Bell Song. Bird song, bell song, coming from the smiles in the trees. Wind song, well song, undercurrent waters in the breeze. I can sing with the birds, yeah. I can fly with the wind. I can dream that life is a dream. I can dream again. I can dream in tender shoots of green. I can see what I want things to mean. I can see my own kind of sanity. Bird song, bell song, on the other side of tears. I can dream again. This is from a book called Bargewood, which came out, I think, right around when the Iraq War was happening. So this is called No Roads, but it's, you may guess who it's about. With the roads blocked, how will I work? With knocking and searching, how will I sing? With a house with no walls, how can I cook tonight and tomorrow? In a windowless cell, how will I play the violin? And with a wall encircling my land, can my thoughts fly like birds over the barbed wire? I did nothing. How can I work? How can I sing? And this one is called A Lovely Woman Was Killed. A lovely woman was killed. She is an American. She is an Iraqi. Her hair is brown. Her eyes are brown. Her skin is dark. She has 2 children. We know the American's hometown. We do not know the Iraqi woman's name. An American is in a morgue in Germany. An Iraqi lies by the side of a road. A lovely woman was killed. To Marla Ruzicka, 2005, I feel like I am sitting inside a box without an address. It sits in my hallway while I try to look through holes on the edges as though I'm going to be shipped in a time machine back to Nazi Germany with a big red stamp. You can do nothing. There's nothing you can do. Then a woman died chronicling the Iraqi civilian dead. She wriggled her way out of the American box, out of the underground plumbing. If I'd only known of her work, but I know now, and a hand begins to poke through the dry rot of existence. And maybe I'll try another theme. This is called Summer Waters. It's been so hot. It was so hot that day in Chicago when the water stopped too, in our third-story apartment, where no one knew the neighbors and we kept our doors closed. But that day we walked up and down carrying jugs of water from first floor and next floor from the flower shop woman downstairs, and all the doors were open and warm breezes came in and out, and the staircase was a sea, and the city apartment was an arc that pitched on the waves as we divined for water and all met at the well on that hottest of days. This is called Potrero Mission. The neighborhood smells like bread. Passing the bakery, the yeast rising. Around the corner, the brewery is gone, where the hops bubbled. The aging Victorians with crumbling front porches still line Potrero flatlands amid the printing and car repair shops. The rolling presses emanate thick, inky odors across from Indian curry lunch buffets. You can hear the voices of the old ballpark next to the double play bar. Further south along the bay, and years before, Chinese people fished in coves and pigs were butchered. Looking up towards the hill, you can see General Hospital's laundry steam, a constant stream pouring into the clouds, or a full moon rising into the night, or disappearing behind an eclipse. Since it's Year of the Horse, several years ago I wrote poems to the various Chinese New Year's animals, even though it's not based on a traditional version of the animals. It's just how I think of them. The Year of the Horse in the China Walk restaurant. Above the round table, the etched horse whinnies and leaps. I could be riding on a journey towards the mythological mountains of ancient China. The horse flies faster than the dragon, gracefully cantering. She takes me on her back, her mane feathering. I can dream now above San Francisco and its hills and see the children by playgrounds with carousel horses and playgrounds with locked gates bolting back, tenderloin poor crouched outside. We are flying over Grant Street and the Empress of China and the stance of long radishes, trotting above the mission's tamale vendors, galloping along Ocean Beach, her tail setting fire to the sunset like a match, a kite soaring over the edge of the cliffs, cousin to workhorses who died rebuilding the city, hauling everything. My horse's flight etched in glass, a forward look in this horse's eyes, as the round table feeds 6 poets working on their voyages in words. The Paris Peace Corps table during the Vietnam War. They had to seat a table, and it took time to decide the shape of the table. because some dignitaries wanted a round table, such a one having everyone being equidistant, but others said, no, a rectangular table with two sides, until one day they all sat down, it being decided to have both a round table and two rectangular tables. But maybe in the future, in a tent somewhere, two people will drink tea on the floor on pillows and find their seats in the right geometrical configuration. Pupusas. If you keep going down Mission Street, there's a row of shops from El Salvadorians. I'm looking for pupusas, puffy stuffed pastry with beans and cheese, and new ones like with spinach or zucchini. In the U.S., the immigration laws changed, and the life in El Salvador changed through wars and violence. People needed asylum. A new neighborhood started to appear. And when I visited Main Street in my old hometown, I saw there's now a Colombian restaurant and a Peruvian restaurant. Some people would like Main Street to be like the 1950s with hamburgers and Cokes and fries. You can have that, but the warm, comforting pupusas are my delight. At Grandma Lily's in Flatbush, Brooklyn. At night I lie in bed by the window, the neon sign across the street blinking on and off on the city street of Brooklyn, dreaming under the pink and green reflected shimmering. As a little child arriving over New York's bridges and up brownstone steps, the neon sign advertising something, even at midnight, even at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., calling out to the someones who walk at night, is the only time I stayed overnight in a back room behind the kitchen. There were two brothers and my father, born in Brooklyn. They moved. Grandma Lily stayed. The Spanish kings in the park. Not a very used park, though beautiful. Only one statue there with a plaque to explain, dressed in armor and a sword, all in black. One Spanish king gifted the monument of another Spanish king who founded San Francisco, the Presidio military base and the mission. The modern king must have been proud to commemorate. No mention of the native aloning of enforced labor, not a statue that anyone really notices as scholars row boats or children picnic in the park. The gift from one king by another king almost looks lonely, presiding over the ducks and raccoons, over former land grants later stolen, which cheated the Spanish settlers as well as the Ohlone. Gleaners. At twilight, the gleaners come, wheat and barley left behind on the ground, the harvest over, stalks blown in the wind cut at the roots, like the people who move in gathering the baskets and sacks. In my daydream, I join the moving ensemble, as rhythmic as a wave, stooping and plucking before the birds arrive, joining in the unordained feast of the day, the last twig for a nest, a final sun-dried straw, before the animals arrive, waiting for their moment, the landless gleaners, dusky in the sun, disappearing before the sighs reappear, pulling me along with them to find remainers like books in sidewalk sales, sold for a penny in a box to rummage through. In my daydream, the word gleaner resonating with me, as if I have a Middle Eastern gene looking to connect with Mesopotamia. I wake from my daydream and read my little garden. And this one is called Oil, and I don't know, I kind of think it's an amusing take on oil, but here goes. Tiny organisms, even a few dinosaurs gone to river bottoms and oceans and deserts that were oceans, churning into oil for factories and cars and militaries, even a few dinosaurs in the sludge. Something about a dinosaur that people yearn for and children love. When I was a child in 1959, we had a show with themes. And one year we wore gas station logos. We wore our painted signs pinned on our chests. Dinosaurs with long necks, shells, chevrons. I sat in the car as Mom drove to the gas station in a black neighborhood and collected juice glasses under the big dinosaur sign. So why is it that children love dinosaurs, those whelping and flying dinosaurs, but adults fear them, those dinosaurs who left the earth, that world of sun and green leafy plants that is transformed by humans into oil and myth? I dreamed I was a centaur, half horse and half woman. I could think like a human and gallop like a horse. I would run in the western plains with the other wild horses who didn't notice so much my attempts at putting my head back and winning. My forefeet could stamp, 2 more than the humans, and I could stand on 2 in a burst of exultation or anger. But sometimes, without human company, I must seek out another centaur to converse with, to say what's in my heart, to use words which horses do not, to write poems and sing. I am 2 in 1 in my dream, being 2 in 1 in my dream. The tree. When I was a child, the tree in the backyard with 2 large trunks where I could sit in the middle. When I was a child, I could pretend that I was a pilot. 1 trunk the controls, 1 the seat back, flying away from a grassy lawn, bullying children on a playground, both nice and mean teachers, perching on a cloud for minutes in between the rest of life. No one noticed one of the trunks was rotting inside, or at least not as strong as it should be, and the roots that were not tied to the ground. And one day a trunk fell in a storm. The seed on the tree's bottom still remained, even with a lopsided seat and fall in the trunk as the wood was carted away. Now I had half a plane for my flights of fancy, and soon there was only a stump to sit on top of, not a plane anymore. Green shoots appeared asking for new metaphors as I moved away and left the tree forever, merely touching the earth instead. And this one, I'll end on this one. This is not that heavy. Mendocino goats. Lilo had a farm in Mendocino with little goats that she could milk. She had been a librarian, but in retiring, her farm was her new happiness. She showed me how to milk the goat and feed them. Their scruffy little beards shook on my approach. Through the foggy afternoon, I could see them dancing, their hooves making constant sounds. Each goat bleated as they saw me, relatives of Pan, but gentle creatures on Willow's farm. And I answered back, finding friends. The dark Mendocino night would sometimes have a goat connect with a bump in the road as one walked from town, surprising others from the city, those who would not believe that such things could happen when they were told.
Another hand for Alice Rogoff. Next two people will be David and Anna, but I will share mine, if you don't mind. And this is entitled Jazz Tree. One night, Greensleeves managed to catch Coltrane in the branches of a fickle ficus tree, while miles away and far above, a blue saxophone moon watched as notes and chords got tangled in a forest of songs, leaves, and roots, hidden deep in the history of jazz and the mystery of you, where tenor and trumpet would delve into the truth of the message in the music that lives between us two. Bass and drums dust and brush up against a rhythmic breeze. Muted tones are lost along a melody covered in lichen, moss, and piano keys. Spread across the dark between So What and a Love Supreme, we're perched on a limb in a garden living room, immersed in the birth of cool, with green plants all around, listening to the warm sound of miles blowing slow and kind of blue, while Coltrane's driving a soul train under the glow of me and you and the shadow of that saxophone moon. Next up, David Erdreich.
Clarion. Am I here just to explain? Am I here to go to Spain? Am I here to taste the rain? From California across to Maine? A sense of order to maintain, dangling feet of flying cranes, edge of woods, just down a lane. Uncomplicated. Keep it plain. They frame the game to blame AI, a form of misdirection. It's humans who send drones, make war. Their planning needs correction. These pedophiles, for girls care not, concerned just with erection, objectify so by and by they can make their selections. Let's thank Supreme Court, oh so wise, for Citizens United. Obsessive oligarchical greed, our country now is blighted. They hide the money, pick the judges, perpetrating hate, try to buy elections. Censorship is the going rate. Uphold the Constitution, assemble, get the vote out. Throw the tyrant under the bus, him and all his touts. Freedom is a right, all right. not given, must be earned. Our strength lies in diversity. Let bigotry be spurned. And a similar one. Athena, wisdom, third eye sprang, of whom the Furies' sirens sang. Forehead central to the fore, yes, in advance. She knows the score. Anticipation, act, result. Enmesh, not in personality cult. See the future, accordingly act. No need to obfuscate, lie, redact. These pedophiles who pimp and shill, wooden nickels, crypto crap, perpetrated by satrap, their pockets constantly they fill. Realities they can't, realities they can't adapt. Murder schoolgirls by mistake. Half-cocked, Dubkoffs, all half-baked. Your specialty is misdirection, badly in need of behavior correction. Pandora's box is their selection. To other humans, they have no connection. Four score paws. I've given up morose for more roses. Poison oak has crept down my legs. Patience and calm, plus occasional balm, preclude urge to itch, scratch, and beg. The thorns of fate have not pricked me of late, though earlier in life gave me pause. Left to wander and roam distant lands, near to home. Ponder truth, not political flaws. Through 49 states of the U.S. I've traveled. Oh yes, I'm an American man. Where national parks always give me a spark, I visit as often as I can. Continuing gestation, I'm 80, fourscore, not a moment more. Up straight I still stand, to traverse the land and question just what I'm here for. Peace inside and out, complete silence, or shout. Either absolution or offer resistance. I'm biding my time, both absurd and sublime, appreciating continued existence. There's a haiku, and then I'll give you a poem I read here about Clarion, and then I'll stop. 575, haiku. In an ensemble, to sing is to love without touching each other. I sing with two chords. This is called Sacramento Wavers into Waverly, for Clara Sue. Oh, heed the clarion call, the herald and the trumpet. Pronounce and give them all. This building is historical. Its rafters touch the clouds. The ancient and the modern pluck their strings or read aloud. These are not geese that gaggle nor crows gathered to murder. To understand indigenous poems, you need not be a birder. Yet every language ever struck will bring its reader endless luck. Of civilization, perpetuation, examining each situation, detailing news from near and far, opens our hearts to raise the bar, fingers stylus, merge to craft, uplift spirits, blow first draft. Not understated nor held aloof. Herein, words just speak their truth. Thank you.
Anna Burke is up next. And then Robert Rubino.
is a golden shovel that I wrote from part of Faithful and Virtuous Night, a poem by Louise Gluck. So I thought I would share my poem and then read to you how that section is in the original in Faithful and Virtuous Night. All parishioners exit from service. Each one's gaze points to these markings on the brick outer wall of St. Pius V. Perhaps it is by looking that they will gain something like clarity. I'm 9, however, I have noticed that attention is imperfect. In due time, it honors the unthinkable, calcifies a figure in the mist. The adults make vague remarks intermittently. I have to watch them as they watch this graffiti, keeping it visible. And it was in this painful sequence that I start to feel sympathy, like I have no notion to mock, degrade the parents or the situation, even though A, I have seen through something, and B, they could have attempted to paint a lighthouse over it. They did not choose this, or it did not occur to them. What happens next? At home, at school, on the sidewalk, whose gravel and guardrails and desks and tasks are what I know, and are non-porous, are completely themselves. And now take the older kids, ambivalent to a fault about it, quality preempted one day, some day reason. And in this, they began to emit the idea that parent, teacher, priest, the entire diocese held only a hint of legitimacy. It was a transposition giving a constant and beating signal. But what really is the point of a lighthouse? This is north, it says, not I am your safe harbor. So here is the OG. Points of clarity in a mist, intermittently visible, like a lighthouse whose tasks are themselves to emit a signal. It ends the same, but what really is the point of a lighthouse? This is north. It says, not I am your safe harbor. Thank you.
Next up is Robert Rubino.
I knew Alice from Sacred Grounds about 7 or 8 years ago. And then 4 years ago, Alice invited me to join Laborfest Writers. And through Laborfest Writers, I met an amazing poet, Nellie Wong, who became a friend. Nellie died in January. She read here at Clarion as recently as last September. Just have 2 poems, and the first one is one of Nellie's poems. It's called Illumination. Such a beautiful word. It lights up the sunlight squeezing through the Venetian blinds. Hears the tires screeching by this morning. I want to dress it, add sparkles of the sundew reaching out with what looks like tiny bubbles, reaching out over the Japanese stoneware plate of turquoise and mottled rocks. Watching in stillness, watching a hummingbird beak to the feeder, its wings flapping, flapping, flapping. I've lost count. A cyclone of stars in the water, lights dotting the landscape of hills, opening my eyes, seeing the wind swaying leaf to leaf, I climb aboard seeking more light, content with the moment's breath, a neighborhood squirrel munching a cracker, a dead bug, the harvest moon floating a midnight sky, a girl, head down, deep into the page, her pen, no ballpoints back then, dripping wet with words promising light, the dark and shadows coursing through her body. Illumination beyond and of itself. Echeverria, purple and red, a giant spider crawling skyward, a skeleton standing on a green lawn. This is one of mine that I wrote just a couple of days ago. Pie Day Pie. Eating much smarter, healthier lately, but can't deny delight when a Pie Day pie, fresh-baked blackberry crumble no less, appears, ta-da, on the kitchen counter like a heavenly sugar rush sweet tooth vision. Half-century ago, in those stoner wonder years, with a fork in hand like a Munchie's marauder, that pie would be devoured, yeah, the whole pie, in one swell, swift, sublime, scrumptious sitting. No harm, no foul, no muss, no fuss, yum, yum. But now, older, wiser, soberer, and disciplined, with a self-imposed one slim slice limit, but actually stopping at 2 not-so-slim slices. Still not bad at all, although that leftover Pie Day pie didn't stand a chance at next day's breakfast. Thanks for listening.
Bring up the second of our features of the afternoon. Okay. Second feature of the afternoon. Very, very modest bio for Michael Koch. Michael Koch is a San Francisco poet and visual artist whose Jamaican Slavic heritage only partially explains his passion for syncopation and absurdity. His books include Street Theology and Ramshackle Detour, and he is one of the wonderful staff of Bird and Beckett Books. So if you haven't visited that, please check out Bird and Beckett's. It's a wonderful place. And he's a wonderful poet, Michael Koch.
Greg, thank you so much for that terse but sweet introduction, and much gratitude to you and Claire Sue for running such a beautiful, welcoming, intimate environment for poetry. It's really a pleasure to be here. Despite the fact that I've written my share of spring poems and horse poems over the years, that's really not a theme of what I'm into today. But you know, happy springtime, happy year of the horse, happy Eid, the culmination of the Islamic festival and fasting and what have you, and the various Easters that are upon us as well. So, however, the background of things is much more, we know, characterized by an incipient fascist coup and a war. There's some very things that are less than glorious. Off color. Phones were once as intimate. Phones were once as immobile as deeply rooted trees. I'm fighting to maintain the premise of my postage stamp-sized life. As Professor Lucene from Howard University said, we're in for one long slog through the bowels of racial animus. Our self-awareness is sporadic. We barely show up for the show trials. We're ascending to heaven in gas guzzlers from hell. Our tyrant king is a fool's gold worm gleaming in the mire like a lost golf ball. Fast forward to happy hour. Make a tuxedo out of discarded pajamas. Don't give an inch. Feed your dreams. Autopsy oblivion before the body cools down. And this is called Eagerly Awaiting the Gaza Hilton on the Beach. Among the many obscenities of the day, of course, is that ghastly sequel, the planned sequel to the genocide in Gaza. Eagerly awaiting the Gaza Hilton on the beach. Oh, to be a spiritual cadaver, lining up putts with the other tycoons drunk on dreams of immortality. Luxuriating on impeccable lawns, watered by the blood of infants whose limbs were amputated without sedation. Oh, the salacious thrills of delectable secrets, as like gods we lie with impunity and lie yet again and yet again lie in the capacious sarcophagus of divine derangement. Alchemy of hidden things. The Bacchanalian grammar of sobriety is just a rounding error. I drunkenly row the boat ashore, splintering the pier, itself a rough approximation of thousands of years of maritime earth soaked in rum. What the hell is this clown talking about? At least I'm not playing the abandoned baby in a minefield card as I calibrate the occult algorithms that feed war, this war, that war, and this war. Give me contrapuntal double times and off rhymes, taxi drivers with exquisite accents, scribbled identity cards, heliocentric silence, the cadence of moonlight, unflappable flowers marinating in the spit of luxury-addled tycoons. Ground and pound, dink and dunk, keel over, post up, stare at the ground till your beleaguered soul comes into focus. By the dawn's early light, I get up reluctantly, put on a necklace of crushed sparrows. Stunned silence is my linen shirt. I put a writ of habeas corpus in my pocket and a space laser in my sock, as a plague of locusts chants my slave names. I almost envy the emperor's ragtag armies, their ill-timed smiles, their love of tainted air and colonized skies, their morning porridge of delusion and lies. The moon is lactating loudly, and the shrunken sun sizzles like a burning raisin. For the aching, our bodies ache for the aching, the flayed unmaking of the mask gone walkabout in our brain. Let's not kid ourselves. They're trying to murder us. But it's nothing new. Stars wax and wane, stumble and flame, little lanterns bedeviled by darkness. In the beginning was the word, I swallowed its tongue like ground glass. Poetry after Auschwitz, song after Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin, dance after Gaza, Guantanamo, and Vietnam. Ask the mercury inside a glass thermometer. It's already the fire next time. Sloth is like sleep or youth. a thick sap aflame in our veins like a lazy dog in heat as the whole chingadera burns down. Me, I wake up each morning like a stone dropping from heaven. I don't know my ass from an onion. Whenever I see a woman reading Beckett in public, I pretend to be a blind man with perfect pitch and write my name with a twig in the sand. Wine and coffee. Fear of immolation, self-immolation keeps me in stride. Strangers read my thoughts anyway, my firewall of muttering. I'm an involuntary success in business. I don't pay what worth is worth. I get spiders to weave for free and sucker punch the bees. My mother, on the other hand, worked as a fisherman, an Arctic explorer, a relief pitcher, a Russian novelist, a roller derby queen, a blind mariachi, a talk show host, a terrorist, a psychotherapist, and a cowboy. She was ambivalent about snakes and golf, but drank plenty of wine and coffee. She was a very versatile sort. Stitching time, get enough sleep, get too much. Death is dapper, a well-groomed purple cloud. Take a little nap as you climb the ladder. Tip the seamstress who sews your shroud. But still, what about the night, don't you understand? The purple lacquer that lends it darkness, the polyrhythmic silence forcing dogs to howl. I can't read the graffiti at these supersonic speeds, but still, 300 billion stars in our galaxy, at least 225 billion galaxies, and no night long enough for the signing of all the zeros, for the loaves and fishes to unbutton their pent-up charms. This is for Pablo Neruda, the great Chilean poet who was killed in the sequel to the original 9/11 in Chile that included the murder of Salvador Allende. For Pablo Neruda, I glimpse you in the foliage of a moonless night, a bird of giddy metabolism devouring itself, leaving in its wake a skeleton of pure ignition. This is called Jazz Sessions, and it was written shortly after the beginning of his first administration, when he appointed the notorious white supremacist admirer of the Ku Klux Klan, Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions, to be his Attorney General. It's entitled Jazz Sessions. I dreamed the Attorney General was named Jazz Sessions and could sing, shimmy, and swing like a river of clemency. I dreamed the Education Secretary finger-painted sparrows in a sandbox as she channeled the wisdom of Lumumba, Lorca, Tecumseh, and Lee Poe. I dreamed the Labor Secretary knew slavery begins at home in the dark pocket of profit, and that the Secretary of the Treasury knew real gold is an intangible essence beyond the reach of fools. This is a poem written some time back in the Chinese calendar when the year of the dog was becoming the year of the pig. It's called Contra Diem. We'd better prune back the gods, they've grown too goddamn big. It's the year of the funky dog, next year is the year of the pig. Forget the mosques and steeples, the avatars in robes, the crowns of thorns, the karma, the Ganeshas, Siddharthas, and Jobs. Let's pare down to the least of gods, get lost in the least of men. Our hard-earned scars and weariness gleam godlike now and then. Again, I go first one place and then another, barrels in semicircles, men in blue, silos under grasses, bronze light off bells, and do I want to go down again? Oh yes. Smoke rises, and love, dark boot, scatters its wicks in the wind. Oh yes, I want to go down again. You doing okay? Timeline's good? Yeah. Two more. Dizzy. I love wine described as brooding and dense. Children quick as kites, women like barrels of brandy. I love hats, but malheureusement, they mess up my hair. I love cats, but only 10% of them. And dogs unconditionally, except 89% of small dogs, and half of big dogs. I love the languages I butcher like a payaso. The word buckwheat, extended ceasefires, diplomatic overtures, the vertigo of detours that complement the cheap red wine of my proletariat imagination. When everyone mourns, laugh and get dizzy. When all are jubilant, it is time to talk of death. Just saying. Most of us are walking around dehydrated. Just saying. Our sartorial choices aren't so hot either. And as for ethics, we kick around some platitudes and then blame everything on someone far away. But killer bees of happiness are massing at the border, grinning like open books, marinating in the breeze, bending stars and breaking stripes, their hair slicked back, their spines iced down, Africanized beings with chocolate coins and illicit kisses. Look at the clown at the podium. Our entire culture is having a bad hair day. I'll finish with a couple three here. The police have come to make us ghosts. I think of Mao swimming ominously in a bowl of blood sausage as I press crimson petals in a book. An hour after eating, I'm hungry for transcendence or a stale strudel. I'm hungry for a dogfight, for a luminous void, for the hanky-panky of prophecy and destitution. Rent is a wound that doesn't heal. The police have come to make us ghosts. Love one another with quirky syncopation. The sky is high but touchable. All right, okay, reading minds. As I asked my pal Pinky, are we gentlemen beyond suspicion or cousins of Cain, doomed to wear shades at midnight, 5 o'clock shadows at noon? The sun is talking a blue streak, but the coffee grounds are coy. The clock loves the circus entombed in geological time. As Pinky responded before making a triple bank shot like a prodigy in his prime, the odds are steep, our time's not long, and only an atheist can read the mind of God. Thank you. I'll finish with this called I Really Must. I really must be going. It's been real, but not overly so. Thank God the wine was good. Neither as red as my pants on fire, nor as purple as a monkey's ass, but complexly flavorful nonetheless, and very thirst-quenching. I am a thirsty man. The wine was good, and now I really must be going. Okay, thank you so much.
Michael. Another hand for Michael Koch. And Rick? Rick. Who else? Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Rick is in here.
Yeah, I'm Keith. Presidio Hall. West of Park Presidio, Windwalk Pines lean. Shouldered off path, down detour gully. Brush and burrow through green tunnel, hushed hollow, cruel where light slithers break between leaves. Duck and stoop, breath baited. Trail throat narrows, briar bright, fern furred, till bush breaks blink, and there, branch braced, bronze barred, your red mantled majesty, now near over me. Stillness hits like wave hollow, all rush in me unrushed. My heart, heel halted, hammers but soft. O hawk, high-sighted, copper-shouldered, rain rust flare of a bird, how you hold the whole hill in a stare. Thumb on my amulet, glass-slick foam, one-click picture, meek mimic of your warless regal watch. I edge, inch by inch, no more than a leaf's length, pray small, pray slow. And you, calm king, rise lofted, from bow to better bow, lift stitched in silence, feather fire flickering, fog-flagged air folding around you like a cloak no hand can crease. Brute beauty, yes, bright talent, nerve sure, sky soldered to branch you chose, and I, ground bound, green breathed, feel the world wiring quicken like striking flint in a chest. Even the path, the slope, the salt scrub, the city humming behind the headlands, all of it says, look, look and let be. So I do, then go footfall, faith small, carrying your keen gaze for the day remaining.
Antoinette is up next. And once you come to the stage, Michael, could you just share with us when the Bird and Beckett series?
Yeah, the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m.
First Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Bird and Beckett. Okay?
Where's it located?
Glen Park. 36 will take you, it's Diamond and Chicken. And the last bus leaves at 10:30, around 10:30.
Are we ready? I'm so glad to be here. The features are wonderful, and thank you, Greg and Claire Sue, for this beautiful space. Dad took pride in our heritage. Malta's language, food, people, inconspicuous on the world stage. Most knew little of the three islands and Italy's boot south of Sicily, north of Tunisia, east of Libya, in the Mediterranean Sea, Malta, Gozo, Camino, all add up to the Maltese Islands, where tourists flock in summer heat, where street signs written in Arabic script merged with the English pound, and ancient stone structures 2,000 years older than Stonehenge still exist, and crystal blue beaches sing to Ulysses. 1940s, World War II, the fight for the control of this strategically important island endured bombs blasted by air and warships for 2 long years. My relatives remember sirens, shattered buildings, and food shortages. As children, they ran for safety in churches and in prayer. Then the Queen of England awarded a memento, a souvenir, an honor to every citizen, the George Cross for bravery. I was a young woman when I first visited the island in 1970, just 2 years before Malta broke away from English colonization. Pictures of Jesus and the Queen guarded every threshold side by side above the doors of every household in prayer and protection. Each artist, baker, fisherman, priest, woman, and child prayed for Malta's peace and prosperity. God replied with the internet and tourism. The country rose from poverty post-Y2K, while climate change along seaside's edge brought huge waves over embankments. We walked the promenade covered waist deep in salty Mediterranean soup, while the hills on the island, with ancient caves and stone walls that fence in olive trees and prickly pears, kept the island dry and hot. That's it. I just wanted to read one more, it's very short. I cry when I feel seen. My codependence makes me care for your comfort, what I think you need. I prefer the back row. Breathe through tears, plug it up, don't feel, stuff it down, far. They said count to 10 before you cry. I still cry when I feel seen, in a good way, by you. Thank you. The 1428 Poets is a hybrid poetry reading. It's at the North Beach Library on the 4th Thursday of every month from 3 to 5, and it is also online. And find us, it's a really great venue. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. And so also, we're resuming the Sacred Grounds reading at the Sacred Grounds Cafe. That's on the 3rd Sunday of each month. And it is from 12:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon. It's not hybrid, it's just strictly reading. And it's more like a poetry circle. And we would love to have you there. Thank you.
Sarah, you're welcome. Sarah Menefee's up next.
I think that's good. Thank you, Alice and Michael. What a wonderful reading. Thank you, Greg and Clara. This is my favorite Saturday of the month. So, I'm going to read a few short things from a manuscript in progress titled War Stops My Tongue. You can guess what the theme is. On the next day of the Over There War, a man stops at the same camp here. He stops it every late afternoon. This handsome silver fox of a man with pack on back to do his same alchemy rounds of pouring found liquids from one vessel into another, folded cardboard for his bed, sat down. God does play dice with the universe. Just ask a former gambling shill. win or lose, for better or worse, while in our dreams of war we toss. She said that one of the ones who died on the streets last year was found naked and dead not far from the Capitol. Boy, how they love Satan, their demon man, those corner shouter preachers. Don't they love their main man? Where is Aaron Bushnell now? Where is he watching from? What couch of burning love does he rest upon? Oh, mercy, mercy me, forgive us all who simply keeping on, day after day. Aaron Bushnell, who self-immolated at the start of the Gaza genocide, for presenting. Thank you.
Greg, I forgot to mention, on the Sacred Grounds reading, Robert Rubino is going to be featuring coming up May 19th, 12:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon, and Greg Pond will be featuring along with Sally Lev Saunders on, no, you're April 19th and you're May 17th. Anyway, they're both here, I had to say something, thank you.
Garrett is up next, and then Owen, and I don't know if anyone else who hasn't read would like to read. Don't be shy. No time.
One piece that's a month late. It's called If Someone Ever Needs a Valentine. Approach it, it's a day of Valentines, and no entity is in need of a Valentine than the sanity and nerves of a madman-run land whose needs are never so sorely sought as ravaged as it is by a wannabe icon whose cult has endangered the country's good name. So apply all solace to the dream called America and leave all rocks and nuts to the sewer of the Emperor China. And this is in honor of Women's History Month. And the title is a play on an Alfred Hitchcock film, The Lady Will Not Vanish. She stands herself at attention, steeling herself for the task at hand, taking a few deep breaths in her and out her as she eyes the course that moves. It is a course taken numerous times before, as familiar to her as a whole of her form. This trip as a whole is past the halfway point. In a way, this task is just one more chapter. She knows too well what awaits her forward, the jibes, the mocks, even out some whistles. As she proceeds with her journey for expression, these she knows by now are just mere envy. By now, though, she has learned to her sorrow that those uttering such for the most part only wish that they had had their courage and her defiance, and not chosen to abide by figurative jailers. So she starts on the path and she goes on the way, she moves and she acts on the express of the day. Even she isn't always aware of the particulars, but she goes on, she moves on, and dares to go forth. At last she has come to the end of the course. The chapter is concluded and another will come, but she has triumphed as over life itself. She has created still another masterpiece. The figurative jailers can only look with scorn, or try as they might, and for all they may snide, the lady has not vanished, and the lady will not vanish.
All right. Owen.
Thank you. This is from my chapbook.
a tight sung outcry. This is the title poem. Rocks awakening, dill men out to sea, fishing invisible their tongues at quiet, pacing the determined hours upon the quiet soft sand, the obsequious waves, still lonely to heaven, milieu, possum and terrace, salt on the dew of the woods of manna, 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 cry windward, the sperm's rock soil of true endeavor, selfhood, survival of the fittest, lying quietly on the sand, kelp, rocks, barter no more, their abalone fervor to please the rich paces and posies of tight sung outcry. Sonnet 2. The way I should have taken, a way and wise, I took today, in a profound sort of way, in a funny way. The heart forsaken and feelings quieted by the unshaken, quiet form proved. Chances we may see through the air. We say we are breathing lust. Awaken the raw tooth of raw soot of the penetration of 20 releases, laying with the eons of our raw root. We eschew the strength of heavy sneezes. We swarm through the air like bees and flies, our hungry hearts open to truth and lies. Owls slack, harrops harking, hacking, wheezing out, to all in the calm sweetness, penance pecking, forbearance of the shark's dandelion. Come as it may, mean nothing, Phoebus, nothing to that bringeth the brazen coitus of the meadowlark and vine. A new education to walk the worlds we walk in wonder, like the barefoot, benighted, one-eyed wanderer of Pilgrim's Progress, caught in the net that catches fish in the ocean, much like an electric train at sea, sends pinions and pinions, lords and ladies, of that chance, the day of fire and delight, men become seraphim, women fast and pray for their denarii to fly them to heaven. Mine soars Oz. Let the ravens lust be young. Cows mourn their unconscionable loss. Sheep gray gaze to lichen moss. Snakes stay forever in tune. Cry among rocks, weeds, and toby. Trail sometime, we say our prayers we tossed, like old coins to Baudelaire's cross. He stood for crucifix, rung like bells. The bells rung outward to heaven. No more the burden we on earth bore ourselves, and labored skim the soil. The awful toil we see, think, touch, feel, let go of for the instant completes the Tory, then ignore.
One more.
Little order, lust on the shelves of worry and wind, turned on the sand and the fade plumage of the waves, to toss again the swooning bareness of the sand and kelp I talked to in the time and surrender of my kiss of need, to allay the wondrous domain of the dark rain we run to, and hope of the terror of the stars, dashing back to the heavy, swirling, wondrous sand, the quiet sand, the sea we should dance and sing to in merry mock derision. Panis Angelicus, Panis Angelicus, we sing alive to thee. Thank you very much.
All right. Is there anyone else? Clara. Yeah, anyone else anyone who hasn't read who would like to read? Okay, now anyone who's read and would like to read again? Clara. And I see Rob is just into the building as well. So Clara.
I'll let you settle down. I'll read something.
Clara and Rob. Right?
I'll do that too.
And David and JR. Right.
Okay. I'm reading, I like to read a Chinese poem because I have a friend here, he's from China, a videographer, Ziyang. He's been using his camera the whole time. And he's doing a documentary on the Grand Avenue Follies, a cabaret group that I'm involved in. And so he's trying to film what each one of us like to do. I said, you have to come to a poetry reading because this is what I'm all about. So I thought since he's here, I'll read a Chinese poem. This is from the Song Dynasty by the poet Su Dongbo, and it's called Water Melody. 明月幾時有，把酒問青天。不知天上宮闕，今夕是何年？我欲乘風歸去，又恐瓊樓玉宇，高處不勝寒。起舞弄清影，何似在人間？轉諸角，低耳戶，照無眠，不應有恨。何事長向別時圓？人有悲歡離合，月有陰晴圓缺，此事古難全。但願人長久，千里共嬋娟。Thank you.
Are you ready? I'm ready. All right. Rob is ready, and here we go.
Where's that lovely tall stool?
Oh, it's here.
I just came from a moving job, a 7-hour moving job in Berkeley that finished at 3:50, but I made it! Because it gives me the opportunity to plug a show right here in April, on April 18th. Funky Fools is going to be the evening show. It is going to be a mix of spoken word and music with Alan Harris, myself, Shantiana Thomas, and a fourth artist to be decided. Okay, so let's do a new one. What would entice you all to come to see Funky Fools? I think I have the song. Some of you may remember the song that I wrote about California's most infamous outlaw, Black Bart the Poet. But can anyone here name San Francisco's most infamous outlaw?
Rob.
I like that. I like the way you're thinking. No, this is, I promise you, every word of this story is true. This is called The Ballad of Bud. Bud Riley was a hell of a man, had the hardest head in all the land. King of the hoodlums in that city by the bay. Don't make him frown, he'll make you pay. Here comes Bud. On the Frisco streets there weren't none neater. He would headbutt any fool to the floor. Breaking and entering was his stock and trade. His thick skull could bash in any door. Oh, here comes Bucky, very afraid it's Bud. He's gonna knock your world down. Here comes Bud. Run away, he's gonna make you his clown. He didn't have a gang, but he ran with them all. The bad guys quivered when Bud came to call. He woke in the morgue and said, Doc, I ain't dead. That'll take more than one ball of lead. Oh, here comes Bud. Be very afraid it's Bud. He's gonna knock you all down. Here comes Bud. Run away. He's gonna make you his clown. The ladies love Bud, kept his picture over their beds. When Bud dropped his pants, everyone turned their heads. The ladies loved Bud, they were not ashamed to say. Their smiles told the world they had butt sex today. But the mighty, they do fall, and so too Bud's reign of wrath. One fateful day, a door of oak stood in his path. Now he crashed on through, but as the splinters flew, here's what Bud Riley said. Ow! Hurt my head. Here comes Bud, be very afraid it's Bud. Oh, he's gonna knock you real down. Here comes Bud, run away, he's gonna make you his clown. Here comes Bud, be very afraid it's Bud. He's gonna knock you real down. Here comes Bud, run away, he's gonna make you his clown.
Alright, up next, David. Would you like to share some more?
This one's called Bud and Branch for Tolkien and Italo Calvino. Anybody here read The Baron in the Trees? Nobody? Really? Oh, okay. Back when Italy was all woods. You go from sea to sea without touching the ground. Anyhow. Tree doctor makes me limber, leaves me feeling breezy. Oxygen CO2 exchange encourages breathing easily. Suppose I pose on one foot. Give my trunk some spunk, or make my mark with rough, smooth bark, so twigs can tickle and tease me. I feel the roots through the sole of my boots, talking at length to mycelium. Hot and cold show me just how old my rings can sing when I'm feeling them. Druid, fluid, mage on the same page, good to pass through wood. Whether knot or burl, let my essence unfurl, a sage from an ancient age in a forest neighborhood. Thank you.
This is for all of you remaining romance. When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small-town girls that lived up the stairs. with all their perfumed hair that came undone when I was 17. When I was 21, it was a very good year. Was a very good year for blue-blooded girls that lived up the stairs with all that perfumed hair that came undone when I was 21. And now the days are short. I'm in the autumn of the years, and I think of my life as gentle wine with fine old cakes, all the crimson and dregs that pour sweet and clear. It was a very good year. Thank you.
Anyone else like to share anything else? No, all which has been said has been said.
Greg, did you do one?
I did one. But
Do another.
I'll do
Yeah,
another.
do another.
Woo!
Deep part of the forest. We're in the deep part of the forest where the trees don't sleep. They stretch, they creep, they crawl, they leap and claw. We keep moving fast and don't stop to react while getting scraped and scratched by the branches of dying trees. The dying trees of democracy that leaves its cuts and scars on the stripes and stars and across the hearts of you and me. How do we find our way through this thicket of greed and green that blocks our good and keeps us from getting through these woods of dried and dying trees? Is there a way for these United States to not be a haven for fear and hate, but a place to embrace love and liberty? Or does such a place only exist in the forest of my dreams? Thank you all so much. Next month we will have David Booth and Allison Hart will be the poets, featured poets. And Allison Hart happens to be the mother of Luis, one of the Clarion staff. So please come out next month. I believe it's the, I'm not sure the date right now, 17th, I believe. 17th of April, does that sound right? Somewhere around there. Anyway, this third Saturday in April. Thank Clara and the staff of Clarion. Thank you all for coming. Thank the people who came to listen to poetry and did not share any poems with us, but shared their presence and their support. Thank you all so much. Great to see you. Please come back. And happy spring, everybody. And everybody can read, chat, and mingle. And again, thank our wonderful teachers.
Because I was lying face down and bloody on the phone. I can still play.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. You don't need one. Yeah, I heard. You're not talking about this.
Where were you?
Have a good day. Oh, what about it? Well, it's good to see him come down. I might get over there one and I couldn't pull it up.
So what's as far as getting the forward artists in all of the advertising, what's the cutoff date?
And it's supposed to suit us. Well, I guess. I'll be honest, probably tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow. And then we're probably supposed to do it.
Okay, great.
Well,
about 6 months ago. And we had to do a mini one. So it's like, this is difficult now. I asked her, like, oh, my dad and Greg, and they thought, you know, to do 2 pieces. I'm going to get 2 poems, and if you
it's harder than writing books.
and my mom, dad,
Hopefully, we'll get a call back tonight for you.
Oh, no, everybody's coming online. So, right, look through here, what you're doing, and really, at the beginning, was the hardest part, because they're into it. Getting loose it up, and all the substance beginning to come up.
So you can just send her a hello email, and then she can
Well, the fact is that I'm seeing it all the time. I'm seeing it all the time. Started skiing when I was 8 years old. That's something that I haven't done. I haven't been able to what is your name? Robert, okay, Rob. It's all about moving, baby. How can you stop moving? Well, thanks, Robert.
On this trip to see the eclipse, and we had all these adventures on the way. So that's about the longest one I'll send you this.
How you doing, Robert? I've seen you for a while. I like it too. I don't know. I've seen it as easy. So maybe I should stay down there. Because singing is so cool.
I'm trying to look up with Aunt Mary.
Aunt Mary?
Regina, Mary, and Sam.
We're doing a study. Also, you'll notice we have we'll talk about it.
I would love to hear it, see it, and write something down. So there's.
Yeah, so very good. I'm telling you, man, pull your teeth in first.
When it's done,
Oh, man, they gave me that big old runaround with the computer, right?
what happened? Did you?
No, I was going back. Computer, I don't know if you got anybody.